So where did we get to on the red horse?
Well, I think the important thing with the red horse is it might be just worthwhile just reading that again. Do you think, Murray, just to introduce just for people who didn't see the podcast last time?
So this is Revelation 6:4.
Yeah.
Revelation 6:4. And there went another horse, and that horse was red, and power was given unto him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword.
Well, that's Jesus who unseals that, of course, and releases this red horse. And as we pointed out last time, he's sitting. This horse, the rider, is actually not sitting on him. It's a system. And our interpretation of that is it's an evil system, and it's being read, and it's going out to cause fighting, destruction, and all sorts of things. We would hold out that this red horse, in my opinion, is a system which could be socialism or communism. But then again, we do know that and Jesus has said this, that a divided kingdom will fall or be made desolate or reach desolation. So, in other words, we know that Satan's world is very much divided, and so we know that it could be more than one system that's going to be attacking, but it's going out to fight. And when we talked about the great sword, that's very important as well, because the great sword. You might like to just discuss that, Murray.
Well, we only picked it up not long ago, the great sword thing, because we all know that Jesus is the Word, the sword. The sword is the Word of God, the Word of Jesus. We all know that, but why has this system? Why does it say a great sword? The system is using a great sword, and that is because in the Bible a sword is depicted as good and Jesus, etc. But in the Bible, a great sword is the opposite to that. It's war and famine. It's nothing good. So this red horse has got a great sword. Okay? Now let's get into that a little bit deeper. So the great sword is not Jesus. It's Satan's sword.
Correct. And absolutely, and it's reiterated in Daniel, in Revelation, where it uses the word great. And just think about it, great, Mystery Babylon, the great, great Babylon. We talk about the little horn that comes up, and he spoke great things. There we are, there's a great sword, all in one go. It's all the way through the New Testament. And when we talk about the Antichrist, it's always referring to blaspheming and other things like that, and evil, as it puts this word great in between it. And so there we are. So the great sword is a great blasphemy that's been caused by mankind against God. It's actually unfortunate too, Murray, that part of this problem is it's also the great delusion that people are going to fall for. And we see it all the way, and as we know in Thessalonians 2, I think it's about 10 to 12, where it talks about people will take pleasure in unrighteousness. These people are going to be, that's what the delusion is, in case you're wondering. That's why people will believe the lie, because anything that this Antichrist will say, this great sword we're talking, people are going to believe it. And this is all sorts of simple things. Is anything which goes against God. It could be climate change, it could be marriage, could be abortion, could be social justice, all things like this, which Christians today are actually, instead of standing up and saying we disagree with it, are complicit, and they just say it's okay. And that is what is going to lead to the unfortunately, the pleasure of injustice and actually unrighteousness, that they're going to actually believe the lie. It'll be their own destruction.
I agree. And it was 2 Thessalonians 2, 10 to 12. But you're right, Leo. That the deception is the churches have been deceived for hundreds of years, and they're believing the deception. But by saying nothing, they're walking into Satan's camp. You can't say nothing to what's happening in the world today. We're in end times. We're in the book of Revelation. We're in it now. We're not in the old or the New Testament. We're in the New Testament, the book of Revelation Testament, a brand new book. We're walking in real-time revelation. We're not looking back 2,000 years. And for the churches to be deluded and divided, because Satan has been setting the churches up for this for hundreds and hundreds of years, this big deception. And he's got it to the point where now you can go to any church in New Zealand or America or anywhere, almost any church, and they'll be just regurgitating old biblical passages. Instead of talking about what they should be, we're in end times now, and we should be talking about end times. We should be studying end times. We shouldn't be talking about the woman at the well or any old stories and regurgitating. We should be talking about things that are relevant today.
I couldn't agree more. Be prepared, awake, and aware,
Yes.
which is where we come from. Murray, just out of interest, when I was talking about Satan has a divided kingdom, if we go back to the churches, guess how many denominations of churches there are around the world?
How many?
45,000. Satan has done a marvellous job. He's divided the church entirely, or the churches, 45,000, which means that people who are part of these denominations need to look very closely where they are, because they are in a divided kingdom. There is only one kingdom, and it's the kingdom of God, and that is under Jesus. He's the head of that church. And if you're not under Jesus, then you're in a divided kingdom, which is part of the church system, which actually was founded in 1948, or part of it, through the World Council of Churches in Geneva. And that's been operating the syllabuses, the curriculums, and the Bible.
Geneva, you mean Babylon?
Yeah, Mystery Babylon. There you go, Murray. It's same place. Yep, that's our Mystery Babylon choice. And for those new viewers, we believe that Mystery Babylon is actually run out of Geneva, the World Council of Churches, World Economic Forum, United Nations, and many, many non-profit organisations or NGOs are based out of there as well. So throughout the whole world, everything, councils, your local council, your parliament, House of Representatives, and your government officials, together with all the other entities around it, they all report back to Geneva. That is the hub of Mystery Babylon, and it's this Mystery Babylon that is actually dictating and running the world at this stage. Absolutely. And that is what we see as going to be crashing down.
That is the rider of the red horse.
That's right. It's all part of it, and it's all going to come down at some juncture. But the Antichrist is going to come out of it and actually raise himself up and actually have world domination at some stage in the future.
So let's put a little timeline on there, Leo. So Trump's now restraining the red horse.
Correct.
And he'll do that for his term in office. When he gets removed.
When he's removed, because that's the word.
That is.
Yep, correct. And that's the wording in the Bible. The restrainer is there till he's removed.
Yep.
And when he's removed, whether it be before 2029 or after 2029, as soon as he's removed, that's when the red horse is going to be let loose.
Yep.
And actually cause destruction around the world. And we're going to see very, very quickly, a major change in the whole economic and political stability of the world.
The Bible's saying with that great sword, he takes power from the earth and world wars everywhere.
Correct.
And that's swathing that great sword.
Yep. And that's exactly where the red horse goes. And then after the red horse, what happens in there, we believe the red horse doesn't run for a lengthy period of time. No. Because what's going to happen is that we know from Revelation there are 10 kings without a kingdom, or in fact they're all part of the same system, and that's really where they come into it. There's going to be 3 of them overthrown, and we know from Daniel and Revelation a little horn is going to come up and actually take control of them. This is the Antichrist, and this is when the red horse becomes the black horse, which is one world government.
And that's where we get our second rider of a horse. The first rider is Trump. The second on the red is the system. And on the black horse, it's now.
It's the Antichrist. That's the Antichrist.
That's the Antichrist.
Yep. From the time that the red horse starts to run until we get to the end of we get to the black horse, and the black horse becomes the pale horse, the period of time is a little bit uncertain, but it is around 42 months. And that is Gregorian calendar years, actually. But a lot of Bibles actually use the wrong terminology, and they say that the Antichrist will have control for 42 months or until a time, times, and a dividing of time. The actual wording is in the Bible, is in Daniel 7:25, is the Antichrist will be in power until a time, times, and a dividing of time. That's actually 12 or 42 months, biblical months, or 1260 days. So we know that's when there's a changeover. The black horse turns into a pale horse, and also this is probably when the two witnesses come along as well, and he doesn't have the total control in that final period.
So Leo, can we get, just for the audience and myself, can we get years to make it a little bit simpler, that times time and...
Sure. Look, it's probably simpler to do it that way, actually. But basically, we know that the red horse begins around about April 2029. But bearing in mind, he is being restrained at the present time, so it's still there.
Already, yep.
And he will run until late 2029. And we believe that is when the Antichrist will come to the fore and the one world government will start. That'll be the time of the black horse. So the time we're talking about is really April 2029 to October 2032. That's the time when the Antichrist has a pretty free run. After that, things change.
So Leo, we're going from 2029, okay, for 42 months, 3.5 years.
Yep. Takes us to October 2032.
Nice and simple.